You have a lot of dogs that come on here and they bitch to the O. And the thing is, they bitch about things, about what I'm saying. They say things that are very vague. How I'm a tool of the white man, how I'm allowing the white man to brainwash me and all this crap. But the thing I don't understand is they never exactly. And I always ask them this: what exactly are you talking about? Why aren't you, I don't bring up anything you've addressed in my video. You're not talking about anything that I've brought up. You're talking some vague nonsense. And I have a big problem with this because I'm trying to figure out exactly what your point is. What is it that you have a problem with that I've said? What is it? Because see, here's the deal. Afrocentrism is not going to solve the problems facing the Negdom. They are not going to alleviate the economic disparities. It's not going to increase the standards of living amongst blacks. It's not going to increase the wages. It's not going to get more blacks good degrees based on the hard sciences and complex learning systems that will allow them to get more money and have a better quality of life. It isn't going to teach them relevant history that will allow them to get reparations, that will allow them to create original borders, that will allow them to utilize resources that they haven't in a long time, to create structures that they haven't in a long time, to get rid of things like malaria and other things that were checked back in the olden days. In Africa, these are things that are relevant, and Afrocentrism doesn't address any of them. Afrocentrism is reactive, claiming to be the Olmecs who aren't black, because there were other civilizations in Mesoamerica before the Olmecs who aren't black and had similar architecture. Northern Chico, which isn't black, they have mummified human beings from the desertification of burying people in the desert. It just sucks all the moisture out of their body. They're just dried. They test the DNA. They're natives. And all these societies are based on citrus-based preservation, corn, and potatoes. None of them are wheat-based. The Mandan are a wheat people. To this day, they eat wheat and rice. That's what they eat. And beef. There's none of that. None of that in any part of ancient Mesoamerica. And the thing is, the Mandan spread all the way across the Sahara and all the way across the Savannah. And they spread that everywhere. The food that the Gambari eat today is because they've learned how to do that from the Mandan. That's where they learned that shit from. That's where they got their stuff. So these people spread their culture and they spread their products. And when the Mandan came to America, they actually brought their stuff with them. As slaves, they brought their food with them. And they had a written language. That's another thing. They had a written language. The Bassa script is actually an ancient Mandan language, and it's an alphabetical script. There is a lithographic pictorial script, I believe, in Olmec culture. It's very complex to use. It's impractical. The Mandan script is practical. The script that the Mayans used was a pictograph script, hieroglyphs, but it's a lot more streamlined for everyday use, to tell the history, to calculate stocks and whatnot, calculate how much surplus food there is, and tell stories and wars, all that. It has useful functions. But that came long after a period of streamlining, but it's still lithographic like Chinese. The Negro uses a script that is alphabetical. Nuri, an ancient Negro script, is alphabetical. Basa was alphabetical. These are alphabetical scripts. And men didn't have been around. They've had civilization since 1600 BC. So why is it that a culture that's been around since 1600 BC, why would they just all of a sudden adopt a lithographic script? They didn't adopt one from the Egyptians. So why the fuck would they go all the way over here and create one in the middle of fucking nowhere where they don't know how to grow food, where they've never grown it before, surrounded by people that have been there for 2,000 to 3,000 years before the Olmecs? Why would they do that? Let's just create an impractical script and grow food we've never grown before and build big ass stone heads. Why? For fucking what? We never did that in Africa. We're gonna do that here. We're not gonna build our huge fucking castles. We're not gonna do any of that shit. We're not gonna build our gigantic cities with 1 million people. No, we're gonna build a little fucking temple and big ass heads that live off of fucking corn. Apparently we're going to learn how to make corn in a small area. We're not going to do what they did in Northern Chico to make a vast civilization similar to the ones we live in Africa. We're not going to make civilizations like on the western coast, like the Zapotecs? I don't remember. I need to look that stuff up. Some of those cultures were older, and we're doing things really bigger than the Olmec civilization. And all of a sudden they're going to make jade sculptures that are older than the heads that look like Native Americans. Why? For what? For what possible reason? And then you want to talk about what the hell is that? I think it's Ramsey being EE. What the fuck is his DNA? I forget what it is. It's E1B1A, but it's an E1B1A that's connected to Northern Africa. I'm not even going to go into depth. All I'm saying is this crap is irrelevant and it doesn't help. Blacks are poor. Blacks, on average, don't have that much money unless they work a government job. You work government jobs. And when the government cuts the jobs, you're fucked because you don't have degrees. You're either working for the city or the federal government. That's it. Like Filipinos. That's all you do. And then you get out here and start talking about all this bullshit because you think, oh, I work for the government, I'm going to be good, I'm good, I'm set. And then you get old and they start cutting pensions and all this shit starts happening. You take these stupid corporate jobs where they offer all this BS to get you to work, and then they start using labor against you. That's what the white trash has been finding out since the Reagan administration. Wake the fuck up and stop bullshitting yourselves. This is just retarded. This is just absolutely retarded. You don't see the grander scheme of things. You don't see the grand scheme of any of this stuff. This Clyde Winters guy, he's a con man. He's nothing but a con man, and he's using blacks' self-hatred and insecurity against them. Afrocentrism, this matriarch crap, blacks were never matriarchs. The Greeks documented the Macedonians and Germanic tribes 2,000 years ago and how some of them were matriarchal. And all they used to do was fight. This woman didn't like this woman in this tribe, so she'd have her men go and fight these guys, and they just got tired of it and said, you know what, you bitches aren't in charge anymore. Because it's counterproductive. And if you look at the Nigdom that purports to be matriarchal, a lot of them don't control shit. They don't control their resources. They don't have any what the hell are they called? They don't have any labor-intensive, labor-producing economies. There's no factory that creates a bunch of independent service jobs, like a stadium. So let's say there's a stadium, and then the stadium produces, hot dog vendors, has hot dog vendors come out and all that crap, where you have a factory, and the factory produces a bunch of jobs in the town, and the town increases so that other markets are created, like Microsoft did here, Boeing did here. You don't have any blacks doing that. And these women aren't going to do that. Most women are out here making a lot of money from working for dudes or hustling dudes for money, then stacking all that money up, like marrying rich guys and then watching them die off, things like that. As long as you guys continue to do this counterproductive shit, you aren't going to do anything productive. Matriarchy is created by the white man to brainwash you nignogs into being servile, effeminate, weak, pathetic fools that they can control, because you can control women easier than you can control men, because women naturally want to be controlled by a man. And so if you can get all the men to think like women, you can control everybody. That's how musicians make their money. It's why they're emasculating white dudes to where they're just pissed off and angry. It's why they've got women in control of the nigdom. It's why they're trying to make it. They're trying to do it to Hispanics, but it's not working. But they're trying in different angles to get them to crack. And you people are just buying into it, and accepting it, and making it worse. You're digging yourselves into a hole, and you're gonna fuck yourselves over in the long run. The nigdom is not saving itself in Afrocentrism, or the conscious community, or whatever you want to call this trash, is nothing more than another component of what is essentially white supremacy to break you. I don't even want to call it white supremacy, Anglo-elite supremacy, the elitist supremacy, to break you and make you into nothing, because they're breaking everybody that isn't in their little circle of people. And once you step outside of this little shithole community you want to call it, you'll never fucking see this. Wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up, bitch.